Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm getting ready to start vlogging here in a few minutes, and I thought, before I do, maybe I'll sit down and get myself centered and balanced by doing a small Peterisms video. So, I brought outside the two Melody Baby books that I haven't read today, and I thought that I would read a meditation or two and see what the universe is saying to us. See what the spirit of the world is telling us today. Okay, so let's look in the language of letting go. Today is August 29th, and see what it says on here. Owning our energy. That might be a good meditation. And let's see what the Journey to the Heart book is telling us today. Hold on a second. August 29th. First, heal your heart. Well, let's read from the language of letting go first today. So, August 29th. Owning our energy. Learn to keep your energy inside. From the book Women, Sex, and Addiction by Charlotte Davis Castle, PhD. For many reasons, we may have mastered the art of giving away our energy. We may have learned it when we were young because the feelings we had were too overwhelming to feel, and we didn't know how to process them. Much of our obsessing, our intense focus on others, is done to facilitate this out-of-body experience we call codependency. We obsess, we babble, we become anxious. We try to control, caretake, and fuss over others. Our energy spills out of us onto whomever. Our energy is our energy. Our feelings, thoughts, issues, love, sexuality, our mental, physical, spiritual, sexual, creative, and emotional energy is ours. We can learn to have healthy boundaries, healthy parameters around ourselves and our energy. We can learn to keep our energy within ourselves and deal with our issues. If we are trying to escape from our body, if our energy is spilling out of us in unhealthy ways, we can ask ourselves what is going on, what is hurting us, what we are avoiding, what we need to face, what we need to deal with. Then we can do that. We can come back to live in ourselves. Today I will keep my energy in my body. I will stay focused and within my boundaries. God, help me let go of my need to escape myself. Help me face my issues so I am comfortable living in my body. Wow. Interesting meditation. As I was reading this, especially the beginning, the quote, I thought to myself, I don't know that I've ever read this meditation before, and I've read this book for years and years and years. I mean, I'm sure I have read this meditation, and I just don't remember it. This whole idea of giving our energy away is really interesting, interesting. I think it can be kind of seen in several different ways. I think for many people that are caretakers, that have, children or parents to take care of, that can become very consuming, I think it goes past that and extends past that to when you become a caretaker for everyone in your life. And I actually have quite a few friends of mine that are caretakers, and they assume these roles and they become very comfortable in those roles, even though at times they kind of complain about those roles. It's something that they are naturally very good at, of being a caretaker and caring about other people. And we need those people in our life, right? We need people that are, but doesn't it always seem like there is one person for every 5 or 6 that's taking care of those 5 or 6, when if we evenly balanced it over those 5 or 6 people, that we could get a lot more achieved and a lot more people taken care of. I was talking to a friend of mine today on the phone, and we were talking about, and this was a friend of mine that was not in a healthy relationship, but has since gotten out of that relationship several years ago. And we were talking about the importance of standing up for yourself, the importance of not giving your energy away to people, especially not giving your energy away and consuming yourself with people that don't deserve it. And what I mean by that is allowing people to rent space in our head for free. Becoming consumed or obsessed, or dealing with toxic people that aren't deserving of our time or energy. I have, in so much of my life, and I'm sure a lot of people relate to this, I have given away so much of my energy and so much of my power to people that were never worth it to begin with. And I don't mean that they weren't worth it because they're not worth it. I mean, they weren't worth it in the grand scheme of things because they never had my back. They never stuck around. They weren't really loyal people in my lives. They didn't respect my boundaries. They really didn't respect me. And they're not part of my life today. But I gave away so much of my life and my energy to them. So I was talking to my friend about this today, and I was talking to my friend about the fact that she's been such a caretaker for so many people in her life, right? And that she has, you know, always cared about other people and whatever. And she says, and I still do. And she made this quote, and I can't remember exactly how she said it. But I thought it was such a poignant quote. She said, and I still do, and I still care about people around me, and my circle has gotten smaller, which I think as you grow older, like my friend Tanya Jean always says, the road gets smaller as you get older, because I think you see things differently, right? Things don't seem so huge and looming, right? Like you see them, they seem a little bit more simple to make sense of. And one of those things is that you don't need to be surrounded by 20 or 30 people, right? You only really need a couple really die-hard, loyal, good Judys in your life to get through. And if you have even one, you're blessed, right? Like that's one of the things I've learned by being on YouTube with all the people that have come to me and said, I wish I had a friend like you have, Tanya. Like, I've never had that in my life. And I started seeing that, and I thought, wow, like, I need to stop taking this for granted. Like, my friendship with Tanya is, like, a huge deal. Some people never have friendships like that, and I should be very, very grateful that I do, right? So the reality is, I today know that I don't need to be surrounded by 20 or 40 people. I don't need that kind of validation. I only need a few people in my life that are loyal, that are diehard good friends, right? That are ride or die through it all. That will tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. That will hold my hand through the difficult times. That will, you know, take care of me and allow me to take care of them. Those are the people that I need in my life. My friend said to me today, she said, I used to take care of everybody. I used to be everybody's caretaker. She said, I can't remember how she said it. I wish I could remember it. She said, I am not building fires anymore to keep the world warm. And I was like, damn. Like, that's a powerful statement, right? And I was like, what did you just say? She's like, it is not my job to keep the fire going, to keep everybody warm. She's like, I have to take care of myself at some point. She's like, because if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't help the people that need me, that are closest to me. And I was like, well, that is so true. And I have learned that the hard way in my life. Because there was much of my life that I wasn't taking care of myself. There was much of my life that I felt like I could take care of this person, that, my mom, my partners, my friends, and things like that, right? But I was never really taking care of myself. And, you know, at that time, I'm like drinking tons and tons of caffeine, and I'm eating really, really unhealthy, and I'm smoking 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and I'm not going to a lot of meetings, and I'm not talking to my support system, and I'm not taking myself, and I'm kind of like running on this kind of like this mania a little bit, right? And, you know, people would say to me, like, I'm really worried about you. Well, what are you worried about? Like, I have all these people I have to take care of. Like, I cannot be worried about myself. Like, I have to be worried about other. And I think that's the martyr's cry a little bit, you know, is I have all these people I have to take care of. If I'm not taking care of them, who will take care of them? Well, the reality is, and I know that this is a hard thing to accept, but if you are not here anymore, like, this is a really hard thing to accept, okay? But it's the truth. If you are not here on this planet anymore, somehow somebody will figure out how those people get taken care of, or whatever's going to happen will happen. The reality is, and this is a really hard reality to come to terms with, is that I used to think I am so important in the grand scheme of things. And what I realized was I'm not really that important to the grand scheme of things. I'm just one person. I can, as one person, impact the world greatly. But I can't do it if I'm running around frenzied all the time. I have to take care of myself, because I can only be of value to others if I am first of value to myself. That's what my coin said when I got out of treatment, you know, and I have to remember that. I have to remember that I have to value myself. I have to take care of myself, right? Like, I have to realize that my job is not to keep the fire burning, to keep the rest of the world warm. That is not my job. If I impact 1 or 2 people in my entire life, if I share the story of recovery and one person as a result of that gets sober, like somebody carried the story to me and I got sober as a result of that, and I just do that one thing, or I talk about grieving the loss of my mom and that helps one person, or I look in the camera and I say, whatever you're going through, you're gonna be okay. The sun is going to rise again tomorrow, and after each sunrise, things are gonna get easier and better over time. If one person hears that and thinks, wow, I can get through what I'm going through, then maybe I've done my job on earth, right? Whereas before, I thought that my job on earth was that I had to take care of everybody, that I had this huge responsibility to the world, especially after I got sober. I thought I have to be such a good person. I have to start taking care of everybody. I have to start doing this. I have to start doing that. That is too much for any one person to handle. Period. End of story. What I have found, okay, is that life works a lot easier when I ask for help from people. When I say, well, I can't necessarily do this. Can you go help this person out today? Or, hey, can you give me a ride here? Or can you help me with this? The world works much better when I ask people for help. And what I've learned is that people really like helping. They really do. I like helping people. I like when people ask me for help. Now, I don't have a problem setting boundaries. If it's something that I can't do, I'll say, no, I can't help you with that today. I wish I could. If you can maybe do it tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But I have found that most people like to ask for help. I've also found that most people that want to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders and have to take care of 15 people and want to talk about how tough their lives are not willing to ask for help whatsoever. They're not willing to ask their partner or anybody in the world to ask. They're not willing to ask their kids to pick up after themselves or make their own beds or anything like that. They're not willing to ask for that because they get something, and this is probably going to be hard for one person out there to hear, and I'm sorry, but it's the truth of what I've experienced. There's some kind of validation they get by keeping the fire stoked to keep the world warm. There's some validation that they get that inside they think, I'm just not good enough, but if I'm taking care of all these people, then I am good enough. Well, you're good enough on your own, okay? You're good enough on your own. If you know that, then what you'll know is you're deserving and worthy of love, and you need to take care of yourself. It's a fantastic thing to take care of people. It's a fantastic thing to be a caretaker to other people, you know? It's a heavy burden to carry. It really is. I've known a lot of caretakers in my life. I know a lot of caretakers today. A lot of people that have to do the things they do. They have parents and kids that they have to take care of. You know, they have spouses that they have to take care of. It's even if they ask for help, they still have a heavy load, right? It's a huge burden, but you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that you're setting healthy limits and boundaries with people, that you're being honest with what you're going through, and that you're taking care of yourself and that you're loving yourself enough to do that. You owe it to yourself to do that. Because at the end of the day, if nobody's taking care of you, how are you going to take care of all these other people? You know, and then people will say to me, well, I don't have time to take care of myself. Self-care can take 5 minutes a day, you know? It can be a 5-minute face mask, or 5-minute reading meditation books, or 5-minute walk to the mailbox and back, or just 5 minutes of stretching in your bedroom, you know? It doesn't have to be this huge self-care of on and on and on. It can be 5 minutes of your day. Are you telling me you don't have 5 minutes of your day? Or what you're saying is you don't feel that you're worthy enough to take care of yourself. And that's a bigger issue. We all deserve to take care of ourselves. We all deserve to love ourselves enough, you know? And I think the thing that makes me saddest when I look at friends of mine that are these huge caretakers, right, is number one, the reality that they constantly are like this. And I'm like, the truth is that if tomorrow they were no longer here, the rest of the world would come together and figure out what we're going to do to take care of these people. That's just the reality. I've seen that happen with a lot of other people. You know, I've seen that people finally do step up. So you can ask for it when you're alive, or you can not ask for it and people will figure it out later. But people will help, you know, at least some people will help. And, you know, it makes me sad because I see all these people running around, but they won't take care of themselves. And they just seem to kind of like be like slowly day by day being worn down. It's a lot. It's a lot for any one person to handle on their own. You got to take care of yourself. You know, even if that's just giving yourself 1 hour a week of watching your favorite show on TV or something that you can look forward to. Whatever it is, you owe it to yourself to love yourself enough to take care of yourself. You know, because like I said, like I look at my friends and I think, well, who's taking care of them? They're taking care of all these people. But who's taking care of them? And sometimes that's the person that I reach out to that day and I say, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. Is there anything I can do to help you out? It's all right for us to ask other people if they need help too, you know? So many people in my life have been willing and just unconditionally love me enough to graciously help me you know, with all kinds of things. That it doesn't take a lot for me to reach out to somebody and ask them if they need help from me. It's the least I can do, you know? But we got to take care of ourselves, each and every one of us. You owe it to yourself, you do. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.